So eventually your congressional district that you represented for so many years was redistricted. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a Gandhi dance as far as between the Democrats and Republicans, because at first the Republicans were going to chop up the district, but then they decided not to because I was one of the few Democrats who was willing to talk to them, even though I didn't vote with them. So it looked like I had a district. And then the Democrats weighed in and they said, nah, Kucinich has to go. He's not down the line with us all the time. And so eventually my seat was chopped up, but not at the behest of the Republicans, at the behest of the Democrats. And, politics can be very strange that way. You just presume, well, Democrats would want to protect a longstanding Democratic seat. Not a chance. Political parties have their own agenda. They represent interests that I may or may not have gone along with. That's okay. I never complained about it. But the one thing people need to know, it was not the Republicans who caused my congressional seat to be eliminated. It was the Democratic Party out of Columbus, Ohio.
Wow. So do you think you were too far left for them or just off the political spectrum or not pushing their agenda sufficiently to their liking?
I can't be controlled. I'm not transactional. If something's right, I'll go along with it. If it's not, I won't. I mean, that's pretty simple. But there are types who feel that, well, whatever the party, quote unquote, wants, you got to do it. You know,
But is
uh,
is the party really have a good thumb on the pulse of America? We saw that
um,
Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, and what ensued afterwards. Does
well,
the
sometimes
party
it's,
really understand?
well, it can, but when it doesn't, it's generally because, you know, 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, the Democratic Party started to take contributions from the same corporate interests as Republicans. So the difference between the two parties became blurred. That doesn't mean that people inside the party were blurring their differences, but the differences did become blurred, and that would affect party policy. Healthcare, for example. I mean, the insurance companies have their hooks into both political parties. This is the reason why you don't have Medicare for all. I mean, it just happens that way. So uh, the system needs a lot of help, and I think it probably needs another party as well. But it's often when you're inside, all you have is your integrity. You, I'm not holier than thou. I'm not better than anyone else. But if I see something I don't agree with because I think it's fundamentally wrong, nothing anybody can tell me about what they're going to do to me, for me, or whatever is going to change my mind. On the other hand, if I agree with something, I'll work with anyone to make it accomplished. So I guess my approach is somewhat pragmatic, but it's a kind of pragmatism born of idealism.